Welcome back to Le Foot, your podcast about French football, where we are approaching the Ligue 1 season start and the transfer window. It's nearing an end. We will look at the latest transfers, rumors, done deals, rebuilds, and ask ourselves, who are the winners of this transfer window so far? On y va.
Hello, welcome back. We've been having a bit of a break for the summer and recorded just a few shorter episodes here and there. But now we're back. Charlie, how are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm so happy to be back seeing you guys, but also being back talking about what we like the most, which is, the proper football season. It's great with the World Cup. It's always fantastic. But now we're back to talking about Ligue, which really tickles me. And it's happened so much in the summer. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. But it's good. Summer is nearing an end. But I'm feeling, not the usual, dreading the autumn. I think it's going to be so good heading into the European football season and the French football season in particular. How are you, Jeff?
No, I agree with a lot of things you say. I mean, as of today, when we're recording this episode, it's just 11 days until the first game of the season, Marseille against Strasbourg. And I think it's been a great summer. For me today, unfortunately, it's the first day back to work. But, I mean, it's always hard to get there. But when you're there, it just kind of gets back to normal. So I feel happy, and it's just the 10th of August now, so I still feel we got a lot of summer ahead of us, even though it's working on the weekdays.
Yeah.
It's nice to be back. I mean, the last time the three of us spent some time with each other was at your summer vacation house, Charlie, when we played a golf tournament.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that.
I think it went somewhat okay for all of us.
Yeah. We didn't end up dead last, but I think I wanted more.
You wanted the trophy.
And, the trophy is fine, but I felt like it was not how good how I see myself, but it was the dark truth. Yeah. But a lot of beers as well, and nice sun. Actually, we were very lucky with the weather.
Lucky with the weather, but we did get a couple of trophies with us home. Charlie's brother Robin, an avid Le Foot fan, printed and gave us some merch. We have 3 sweatshirts, one each. And who knows? I mean, in a couple of months, we might be able to sell them to our listeners as well. I mean, they're really nice.
For sure. For sure, yeah. We will put some pictures in social media eventually as well of us in the nice tops. And if you don't want to see us, maybe we just post a nice picture of the top so you guys can see. Like you say, Jeff, they are really, really classy, really nice, and really, I think, capture a bit what we do here.
It's a great aesthetic.
Great aesthetic.
A great fit. I feel like hoodies might sometimes be, because it's a hoodie, and they can be a weird fit sometimes. But this one is very nice. It's a
nice shape. So we shout out to Robin there and his friend fixing that as well. That was spectacularly nice. But I'm a bit curious because Jeff, I happen to know that you had some Slovenian cold beers on your vacation. Dennis, what about you? Did you have any Finnish beer?
Karo,
okay.
I had some Finnish beers. Yeah.
How? Because you have been. How many times have you been to Finland now?
Twice this summer. Yeah.
Twice too many.
He came back a different man.
Yeah. Moikka. Tämä on mukavaa.
Then he's speaking Finnish here, and for everyone who listens around the world, I mean, we have no clue of what he's saying. Do you want to tell us that?
No, this is nice.
Oh, this is nice. Okay, but karhu.
It's a beer.
It's with a beer, right? It's a beer with a beer.
Yeah, with a bear. Yeah. Yeah. It's very sisu. It's a Finnish thing.
But it's in the budget segment, or is it one? It's not the classiest of the Finnish beers.
It's in the budget segment for sure. But it's good. It's good. It's a nice lager. So
that's nice.
It does it well. But it was a lot of sauna. which is, I mean, super nice. They have quite nice establishments in Helsinki. Yeah, it was very nice in Finland. Very nice.
But then from saunas to a steaming hot transfer window.
So kicking off with Greenwood now getting his transfer to Fenerbahce, and it's been a lot front and back of Greenwood's whereabouts and where he would end up after last year's season. And I have very clearly in my mind Charlie saying something, Marseille accepting an offer from Saudi from like 80 mil or whatever, and he's leaving, something like that. Yeah. We need to go back and listen to that episode and see what he said. But I think it was about 40 million or something like that. To Fenerbahce. And we will get into that a bit more in depth soon about the crisis, I think you could say, about Marseille. But I'm a bit surprised that he goes to Fenerbahce out of all leagues, and
and if I understood it correctly, I mean, transfer is always tricky following the media and the reporting, but apparently Marseille was in agreement with Atletico Madrid, but the player, I mean Greenwood himself, was not agreeing, and his representatives with Atletico Madrid on the personal terms, and I think that's, given his age, going to Atletico Madrid must be a much better option. Just how the league is viewed and for his future than going to Fenerbahce. Because, I mean, 40 million, I think both Atletico Madrid and apparently Fenerbahce can pay it. But I don't know how big the difference in the salary could be. Maybe it was a very big front payment that lured him to Istanbul. I'm not sure. And I think Fenerbahce is super happy. But I think one thing we need to add here as well is the complex situation. I heard the sporting director say that, because I spoke about Saudi, and the options apparently was even less of clubs that were open to signing Greenwood were even less than Marseille had thought. So of course he comes from a background with his story. We don't need to get into that right now. But that meant a lot of clubs in Europe actually, they didn't even consider it. Atletico Madrid apparently did, and but then he lands in Fenerbahce, and I agree with you. I think he's 24
or 25, but thinking what you said there initially, there was something with the personal terms, and the only thing that comes to my mind there is the wages, because I saw just the other day the terms that Salah signed under now when he's going to Trabzonspor or something like that, I think it was. Or if it was another club.
No, I think it was,
Yeah. But however, he was getting this like astronomical amount of money, and he was getting BMWs for all his family members, one villa in Turkey, another one in Saudi or somewhere. I'm not saying Greenwood will get the same, but I'm just painting up a picture of saying that everybody knows when these players go to Turkey, they get maybe like, I don't know, 30 million in the bank account and another 30 under the table. No, I mean, but it's a lot of money. Yeah. So for me personally, I mean, I've not been involved in anything about this signing, but I can't figure out any other reason if it was not the wages that, kind of stopped Greenwood from going to Atleti, because as you said, he's 24, 25. He is somewhat in the years of his prime as a striker, you could say.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to go to Atleti and, battle for, against the biggest teams, against the biggest players?
Yeah.
I'm really surprised, but I mean, then again, Greenwood is Greenwood, I guess. He surprised people before, so I'm not really sure.
No, it's a very interesting move as you're stating, and maybe it is astronomical sums even for Greenwood. I haven't read about Salah, but I can just imagine. But Salah moved as a free agent, right?
Yep.
So that was, I guess, all the money right down his pockets to get him to go there. I was so sure that Salah would end up in Saudi. I mean, he's Egyptian; it's a country nearby, but. Turkish League. One thing though, I mean, he's gonna play in the Champions League, I think, regardless if you pick Fenerbahce or Atletico Madrid. So that's one thing. I think the Turkish League normally has a few teams there, even direct qualification, I'm not sure. But of course, Atletico Madrid, he would have been playing Barcelona and Real Madrid twice every year. I mean, it's a different kind of league. But yeah, we ended up there.
I mean, they have Galatasaray.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the arch enemy, of course, then from Fenerbahce.
No, but yeah, I totally agree. I mean, La Liga is a much more fun league to follow than, not to be too partisan here, but I think if I were a professional football player, I would probably choose Atletico Madrid over Fenerbahce, just for the reason of being in a much more bigger league.
Yeah, and I think none of us then, to sum it up, none of us agrees on the choice, or actually sees the choice as the most reasonable one. But speaking about choices, Sinayoko stays in Liga because he's going to Paris FC, they've been active this summer, and Dennis, it must feel great seeing all these names coming in, because they are going to be such a joy to. I think following them is going to be one of the big things this autumn.
Yeah, I think what we've seen, we'll of course have to see with Rosinha. I think Rosinha must have something with him that just that the upper management likes or loves, and I think that, or I hope rather, that he chooses the right setups and positionings for the players, which has been signed over the summer here. I mean, Pablo Pagis as well.
Oh yeah.
Koleosho stays. Sinayoko, of course, our favorite striker.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll keep seeing Ilan Kebal. But it's gonna be, it's gonna be very interesting.
But I want to stop you and ask you, Dennis. So if we stay at Rosinha just for a bit, you who follow Paris FC closely, like you say, there is something definitely that they are attracted by in appointing him as the manager. But my initial reaction was, I mean, from the mess at Chelsea. Of course, it's hard not to be in a mess at Chelsea, because every single manager who has been there for a while now ends up in a mess. But I would be a bit reluctant signing Rosinha. What's your feeling ahead of the season now that Rosinha is the new head coach? Kumbari has some good things going on.
Yes.
He built stability.
Yes, and I'm a bit conflicted in that. I mean, we of course have to trust the choices that upper management makes in choosing Rosinha here. He's been in Liga before with Strasbourg, of course.
Good results as well.
And good results, yeah. And I mean, to be fair, it started out very well for him in Chelsea, but then something happened. So
he was passing notes at being down 8-2 in the end. That was, I guess, the last thing he did almost. But
but going into this season, I'm not too sure of what to expect out of Rosinha here. I think what we saw there with Kumbarea towards the second half of the second last season, the second part of last season, he did a very good job in keeping them steady, stable in the middle of the league. And right now, I mean, with all the signings, and especially very excited to see Sinayoko play here. We'll see what Rosinha can do with it. I am.
It's uncertain.
I'm confused. I feel like it is uncertain. Yes. I don't really know what kind of playing style he will have for the team. I mean, there's a lot to pick from, at least.
Because I mean, the bar is higher with the signings and the spending. I think the transfer record is minus 74 million euros, around there somewhere. So they have opened the wallet. And they haven't sold any of the great players. I saw Goebbels, he was sold to Lecce for around 5 million euro. I mean, that's peanuts compared to what they're paying here. But Jeff, what do you say? I mean, Rosinha to Paris FC, what's your gut feeling?
I mean, in recent memories, you have those pictures of Rosinho, as you mentioned, passing notes at Stamford Bridge. And I mean, he was recalled as somewhat of a sub-teacher in the dressing room at Stamford Bridge. So, I mean, there's a lot of mockery over there. But you have to keep in mind that, he came into Chelsea, a team, it was not in shambles, but, it was in the middle of the season. And, it's hard for a junior coach who just have experience from Strasbourg before that to, get into that kind of club with those top players and take over the dressing room. So, I mean, hopefully he learned something good about it, and he's bringing those experience now back to Paris FC. And, I mean, he's got into the club, ahead of the season now, so he has more time to implement his style of playing, and he's probably back to, let's call it common ground in terms of, the level of clubs which you expect somewhat of a new manager to, get a couple of years in before taking a bigger club. And he seems to have the confidence above him as well. I mean, the sporting director, Marpo Neppe, mentioned that he sees Rosinho as modern, demanding, and somewhat not famous, but capable of developing talents. And Paris FC has a lot of them. So, I mean, I think it's, one of these moments from a coach who's getting a lot of, a lot of things written about him in the media to, it either goes two ways from here, right? Either he succeeds and does a great job and he'll get another chance in any of the, bigger leagues in Liga or bigger clubs in bigger leagues, or this will just be a fall down and Rosinho will be forever on the bottom. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can cook up and do with Paris FC.
And he needs to, like I agree with that point, he needs to prove himself now, because we didn't have enough, I think, to state he's a manager he's a manager in a downwards career. No, that's not enough yet. I agree with that. So now it's really time to prove himself. He's moving upwards again after a not so great. But you spoke about talents, and I think one transfer they made is the free transfer of Emmanuel Mbemba, who is a PSG product, 18 years old. And actually, I thought he was going to end up in Arsenal because his contract at PSG expired. And now Paris FC signed him on a free transfer and signed him up until 2030. And he is a talent. He can play left back, he can play center back. I think he can play a bit up as a defensive midfielder as well. But this talent has been talked about around Europe because he is the real deal. And for Paris FC to pick a player like that on free transfer, I think it's a power move. It's truly a power move, because I don't know how close it was with Arsenal, but they to step in and to manage to get a free transfer, 18-year-old, not to go to the Premier League. I think it's just they're making power moves. Same with Sinayoko. Of course, I'm a bit biased here, given that we absolutely fell in love with this player last season and how he kept Auxerre in Ligue. But to sign him around 8 million euros when he was rumored to go to bottom clubs in the Premier League, and we all know the status of the Premier League around the footballing world, and to be able to sign these players, I also want to just mention, as you did, Dennis, Pagis, who had a fantastic season together with Bamba Dieng at Lorient, and now instead of seeing Bamba Dieng and Pagis, we're going to see Sinayoko and Pagis, and that I am very thankful for when it comes to the Paris FC organization. So really, really interesting. And then, of course, Sabi, the young Ivorian, it was not free. I mean, 25 million euros is a lot, but still, they are making power moves. I mean, this is not the kind of players any club can sign for these prices. And we're gonna get to Marseille later, but I mean, it feels like there's quite some distance between them at the moment.
LVMH has been making moves.
Making moves. Money moves.
Unknown family. No, but yeah, it's going to be very fun to see the progression that Paris FC might make through this season.
But if you look at it the other way, I mean, Paris FC, they have brought in a lot of players, but another club that has sold a lot or let people go is Marseille. And there's a lot of talks about Marseille right now. It's not only on the players, but also on top positions around the club. I mean, they got a new president, sporting director, and coach. The coach is Bruno Genesio, latest coming from Lille. And there's been a lot of players leaving the club. I mean, Greenwood, as we mentioned, but also Aubameyang leaving to Deportivo La Coruña.
What a move that is, just to take that. I mean, Aubameyang, I think he's 37. I still like that he's going to play football and try to make one, I guess, last season out of it.
Yeah, and I haven't looked properly, but I would assume Deportivo went up to La Liga this year. Could that be the case?
Could be the case. Could be. I haven't checked either.
But then also another opposite, I guess, against the Greenwood and his judgment. You know, or Aubameyang has so much money, so he doesn't care. I don't know.
But in a way, back there a bit to Marseille, because I think you mentioned new manager. You have Gregory Lorenzi as sporting director. You have, I would say, this is the biggest club in Europe that is in the worst shape at the moment. Marseille is a massive football club with a massive supporter base, and what they need to do, because I've understood that there is some financial.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the reasons letting these players go, or probably the major reason, is that they have to, because now in June, not long ago, Marseille was told by UEFA that they failed the economic targets and have therefore been fined 10 million euros to meet the break-even targets by UEFA, and they can also in the future, if they don't meet these requirements further, they can be expelled from future European football. So I mean that's obviously very big, and I mean a disaster in terms of what players they can attract and what not. But then also bringing in the bigger picture here is that it's not financial issues in the sense of they don't have the money, because the owner they have, Frank McCourt, have since 2016, so for the last 10 years, splashed over 700 million euros into the club. But they still can't, do it well enough financially, and this is because, a combination of recurring losses, short-term decision makings, and a constant squad rebuilds. And just to get it even clearer there in regards to the squad rebuilds, the former president Pablo Longuerias, who was in the club from 2021 until 2026, he did over 250 transfer movements in these 5-6 years in president for Marseille. He used to put a picture on these squad rebuilds.
No one can accuse him of being lazy, though. It's a lot of work.
It sounds like football manager to me.
Yeah, and that's not how things should be done. I mean, more transfers doesn't mean you're doing a good job.
And it's short term for sure if you have that amount of transfers.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is definitely an issue for Marseille, but as we've also talked about before, the economics in the league itself. I mean, it was only last year when Lyon was almost relegated because of financial issues as well. So hard for Marseille, and also today there's rumors about Højbjerg going to Newcastle for 15 million. So a lot of the key players for Marseille have been sold or are soon to be sold. So tough one for Marseille.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about these two men stepping in now, Genesio and Lorenzi. I mean, what a job lies ahead of them, because they also need to convince the supporter base that they are the right people to take these painful next steps, because it won't be a quick turnaround unless something magical happens down in Marseille. I think they are in for a ride. And I mean, you mentioned key players leaving. I mean, what is going to be left then when we start the season? Crazy enough, I saw that they won their training match ahead of Atletico Madrid. Not Atletico Madrid. Athletic Club Bilbao, yeah. Which is crazy, because I don't know really, when I look at this 11 now, how they're going to manage. So really thin ice, it feels like, and they're gonna be on thin ice for a while. And a lot of players, like you said, Jeff, that are here now are being rumored out.
Also Guiri, and then I'm asking myself, who's gonna make the goals for Marseille?
Yeah.
Imagine Aubameyang, Guiri, and Greenwood gone. Who's gonna score the goals?
Madness.
It's
And
not
And they're gonna play in Europe as well.
yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of games, which was somewhat of where the downfall came last year when they had the Serbi.
Yeah.
I know going out that last game in Champions League, and then the card house just fall down.
Yeah. One thing I'm pretty sure though is that Kinesio is gonna. How I personally think you should develop both a squad and an 11 is that he's gonna start, as we saw at Lille. He starts from the back. He builds stability, and I think in this crisis moment you have to do that. You cannot start experimenting Rosinho style. No, but they need a coach with experience. And I think in one way that's the right person. When it comes to Lorenzi, he was in Brest before. I know too little of his record to be saying, because sporting director of Marseille, I think, is one of the toughest jobs in club football. With the passionate fan base, with the demands, but also with this precarious situation and the mismanagement over time and time again. But one thing I must say that is a good thing, a lot of course, talent left with Greenwood in particular, but also then Aubameyang as an experienced attacker. But these characters had to go. I talked about it before that they needed to find a Saudi buying club maybe for Greenwood, and I think that Aubameyang left. I think it's a blessing in disguise, because character-wise, I don't think these are the type of players to go through tough times. We saw with Habib at the end of the season the kind of chaos, and these players seem to be involved at times. And I think that is a relief for Kinesio, that he doesn't need to deal with these egos. So at least I think it's chaotic, but starting in a way they must, but also in the right way. If Højbjerg and those players leaves as well, then I feel like there is so many holes in the squad that I don't even know how they're gonna. It's gonna be super interesting to see. Do you think it might even be like, are they gonna be in the bottom? You think they are at risk of next season being a bottom club?
I think they're going to start out quite rough, and I think we might see them in the bottom half for quite some time.
But not in the bottom, you mean?
Maybe not in the bottom. We'll see how the newcomers do, but because it's still Marseille. I mean, it's a great team, and they've been at the top for many seasons. But given the recent changes, I think they're going to be in the bottom half at least.
What do you say, Jeff? Can they dream about European football, or do they need to fight?
I would say I would probably now, when we do this episode, I'd probably say like top 8, because there's also other factors in other teams, like Monaco, for example. Today I'll probably put them ahead, but I mean, Balogun might also leave. There still might be a couple of transfers here and there. So, but I'm not putting Marseille up for any Champions League spot up there. Top 8, and it feels like Genesio has been already talking about patience, and that kind of gives me the vibe that he might be cynical. So maybe he throws away Europa League and focuses on Liga. So I mean, there's many factors to it, but if he thinks he's going to be able with this squad that they have today to play on 3 fronts, including the French Cup, they might be 12th or 13th spots, because as of now it doesn't look great.
If you stay just there for a second with Monaco, there's a player that has been transferred to the forward positions there. It's Mathis Ablin, coming from Nantes, and I was hoping that he would stay in Liga.
I have a memory of you stating that this is an opportunity when Nantes, got relegated. I know you called it out that we want to see him in Liga next season, and a club needs to step up.
And it happened.
It happened, yes.
It's
but
so
then
nice to see.
here's a tricky one, because I think that is a very clever move. I think it's a clever move for the player. I think it's a clever move by the club. But if they lose Balogun, I'm not sure. The quality difference drop. I mean, this is a young player. He has the opportunity to grow even further. But it's an interest. In a way, it's a bit of a gamble. If they have Ablin as the main option, they also sold Akliouche to PSG. We're gonna get into PSG soon. But then, if they sell Balogun and don't, reinforce even further, let's see.
He's rumored to. I read that he was rumored to 2 clubs, whereas one was a Premier League club. Do you think he would be capable of, Arsenal's caliber to get a replacement for Jesus leaves, and he might get there? Or
so you mean that he will go home to Arsenal and be a backup again? I think it's a long journey he has taken in world football to be coming to play second violin, as we say it in Swedish.
But Victor is probably not going to play all games.
No, that is true.
So he will get his minutes.
And I think, I think he definitely has the caliber for that. To be the Gabriel Jesus of tomorrow, for sure. But it will be interesting to see where he lands. We also just need to mention that Ansu Fati now is a permanent Monaco player. It wasn't that expensive either, I think.
11 million.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a wise move. He still has some great potential in him, but I think you called it out similar to Endrick, that it's time now. Because otherwise it's a bit too many seasons between being a superstar and where he is right now. But moving to PSG, because a lot of things have happened, and I must say that I think PSG has done the best selling window, because they are selling players that they don't actually need so far.
And giving away players for free, apparently.
Okay, who are you thinking about that?
Paris FC. Free transfer.
Yeah. But of course, that was a situation where I think they wanted him to be prolonged, but I think he didn't. Yeah. Now I'm just guessing. He didn't believe in their plan for him, and maybe being the 4th option, because also, I mean, it's like going into Real Madrid at this point. But yeah, giving away super talents for free, which is when you have a little brother in the city now, that's something you have to do sometimes. But if I want to start with the 2 players, so Koulibaly going to Juventus, they don't need. He wouldn't play many minutes, and I think Kang-in Lee is. I like him as a work hard player. We saw him really put in some work during the season last year to Atletico Madrid.
But he was injured most of
he
last
was a lot
season,
of injured as
so
well. Yeah.
You didn't see that much of him compared to the year before, where I believe he was, very much contributing to winning the league and the Champions League that year as well. I like him as well. Quality player, and it feels like he will be more than capable of fitting into how Atletico want to play. That every player needs to, do his part, mainly perhaps defensively, but, also offensively. So I think he'll be a great contribution to Atletico.
Yeah. And if we stay at the price tag there, I think it's 40 million euros, which I think is well done from PSG side.
They seem to really know how to sell their players these days.
Yeah, they are not only best on the pitch, but the business is spectacular. And I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about Gonzalo Ramos to Milan? 74 million euros.
That's a good price tag. That's a hefty price tag, I think.
For Gonzalo Ramos?
Yeah.
But he must have had at least, if not 2, perhaps even 3 years left in his contract or something.
Yeah, he must have. But
because I think that's a lot of money, and Milan must really see something in him, because we've spoken about a bit about the financials today, but Milan and Serie A clubs overall doesn't usually spend that amount of money.
No, and then they do it on Gonzalo Ramos.
Yeah,
it makes me wonder, because I mean, he is a good striker. Let's be real, but I have had this hang up that he is not that player for me.
No.
And if he's gonna lead Milan to a decent position where they belong in the top of the table, I'm not sure. And if you pay 74 million euros for a player, that's where they need to take you. But if we stick to PSG, it's a fantastic piece of business.
Oh, yeah.
Randall Koulibaly, I mean, 41 million to Juventus. Honestly, I don't know who is doing the business here, but I mean, he should do negotiations for the UN and everything, because this guy is.
And that transfer is not yet done, but rumors are that Liverpool and PSG are, or Liverpool and Barcola have agreed on personal terms.
Okay.
But Liverpool are looking to make a payment of 105 to 110 million, and then I think it's pound in this case, whereas PSG is demanding more, up to 145. And I think Barcola only has 1 year left on his contract. So
they're looking to make even more money there.
Yeah, they're making a lot of money. So, I mean, looking at the transfer window now for PSG, they're making a fortune instead of spending a fortune, which has been their signum, you know, Neymar.
Yeah. They're cashing in now.
They are.
Cashing in on brilliant planning, squad planning, brilliant player development, brilliant managerial record. I mean, they are really 5-star now in so many aspects. And it's not going to be easy for the other Ligue clubs to catch up when they're doing this kind of business.
But we did say that, I mean, Gonzalo Ramos is going, Barcola might go as well. It feels a bit thin then up there.
Diomande, Real Madrid, so he's not coming.
Exactly.
And Dembélé is not always injured, of course, but he's injured sometimes as well.
He has a history of injury. He's quite injury prone. So I mean, they might need to look of some sort of replacement up there if Barcola would leave as well. And now when you said he's going to Madrid.
Diomande, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Akliouche was great in Monaco, but it's big shoes to fill because there's several players now moving. So I agree with you. They need to strengthen, and there we have the rumor. Ferran Torres, the recently World Cup scoring goals. Yeah, I mean, he's scoring the winning goal in the World Cup. He's now being rumored. I'm not sure what the price tag is, gonna land on there, but... what's your thought? Ferran Torres to PSG.
To be honest, I haven't watched enough of Ferran Torres to make a fair assessment of what I think of him. But, and I mean, maybe that says itself. I mean, I think people have overall heard of Dembélé, of course. So Ferran Torres is, of course, not to the same quality as Dembélé is. But maybe to fill Barcola's shoes. But I mean, I think Barcola is also... He's a very good player.
Yeah. I think Luis Enrique must have a plan there. I am a bit doubtful, to be honest. But I haven't watched Ferran Torres that much over the years. But from what I've seen, I don't think he's the type of striker which I think takes teams to the next level, or in the PSG case, to remain on this top level. He's not that kind of player. He didn't make the 11 in this Spain team. Now he provided the most crucial goal of them all, and he's going to be a hero forever and in the history books. But if you look on the day-to-day player that Ferran Torres is, I'm not convinced.
I think he'll make a good contribution to the team, but then I think he also needs to, make a better season than he did last year. Because I think, Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia, he's not going to replace any of those. So, I mean, he's going to mainly fight with Douy. And, I think Akliouche would probably play up there as well a lot of the time. So, I mean, he'll probably challenge to get a first week in, week out spot against those two. Because Kvaratskhelia and Dembélé, they are a lot better than Ferran Torres.
Yeah,
I mean,
they must play.
They're better. They're better.
Yeah.
But then, like we talked about, they did a lot of rotation-wise when it came to Champions League and the League last year. So in order to, keep pace on all fronts in all competitions, they need the quality. We saw it. I mean, they even dropped some points. It was not too far off that Lens could pull it off last year, and partly was because sometimes I think the B team, or maybe half the team was the B team. Then it was all of a sudden a little bit trickier, even in Liga. But yeah, I'm a bit skeptical with the Ferran Torres thing. It sounds a bit likely that it's going to happen now, and then we're going to have to wait and see, and I might be proven very wrong. But my feeling is that we have another Gonzalo Ramos situation at our hands. And it's been a success, of course, because they won Champions League trophies and all. But I wanted to see PSG go for a next level kind of player that would start a lot of matches, that would make its own contribution, that has a style of play which is a bit distinct. Ferran Torres, I couldn't even mention what his playing style is really like, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same. It's a bit... there are question marks there.
But it is also one of these things. I mean, I think Douia was so good the last third of the season. So, I mean, they might not even have to buy another player. They have Akliouche there as well.
True.
They have Dembélé, Kvaratskhelia. I mean, they have a great team there.
And maybe they keep Mbaye and Janto, the youngsters from the academy. But that's what I'm saying. I would rather see that in a way than them bringing in Ferran Torres.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of ruining. I think it's almost like a perfect summer soon. But let's see. And we need to speak also about Suzuki at the goalkeeping. Because there are some rumors there about goalkeeping talent coming in.
Yeah, and probably you people that listen might remember him from Japan. He had a great success in Japan's campaign in the World Cup. They went out against Brazil. It was a great game. And he's playing for Parma now. And I'm not really sure about that signing though, because is then he expected to be number 2 behind Safonov and Cavalier is leaving? Or I don't really see him coming in, grabbing the first place and then they have Safonov and Cavalier. So I'm not really sure about what's going on there.
I think definitely Cavalier needs to leave for them to be able to argue that Suzuki should be there. Personally, I hope that Suzuki would be the plan to take the first shirt. We talked a lot about Safonov. I mean, it's hard to criticize a goalkeeper winning the Champions League, and he had a decent performance over the season. But if you look at this fantastic squad, I still think they could manage with a better goalkeeper, and maybe that is Suzuki. He's only 23 years old. I mean, put him in the right goalkeeping coach hands, and it might be just what they need. So I don't know, but I think to your question, Cavalier needs to leave. Otherwise, they might just stay with Safonov and Suzuki, Cavalier as a backup.
Yeah. But then also another signing for PSG, Lucas Digne. And he's doing a comeback.
Yeah.
He was playing there 2013, 2015.
You know what's flashing in front of my eyes when I hear that he is coming? I mean, just the World Cup tackle when he causes the penalty on Lamine Yamal. I mean, he doesn't even look up, and then he kicks in the air, and there is a penalty for Spain. And they just got ran over that match. And we haven't even taken down the World Cup, and we won't. For all your listeners who thought we would, we are straight into the Liga season now. But that's what comes to my mind. I don't watch a lot of Aston Villa. But on the signing, I think it's an okay signing. I mean, he brings some experience. I think Lucadini is also fast. So I think it's an okay signing. Do I think he will start all the most important matches? No. But why not? And a French player as well. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of French players now in PSG.
Yeah, and as you said, he brings a lot of experience. And I think this is also good because in the end of last season, I think there was a couple of games where both Hakimi and Nuno Mendes were out simultaneously. And I think Enrique kind of knew there, or was like, he doesn't want to. He wants to make sure that doesn't happen again, and he has a solid replacement for that. And where Digne now is in his career, I think he's more than happy to take that role within the squad. He's not going to be expected to play week in, week out, because I mean Nuno Mendes and Hakimi is probably the best left/right defenders in the world, or at least up there. So and as you said, he's French as well. No, I think that's a solid one, and it was just for a few peanuts, I think, they bought him.
Yeah,
not that much.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's
It was just 7 million euros.
Yeah.
So,
Which
it's a fair price.
Yeah, it's a fair price. It's not like the business they are doing selling players. And
no.
I just want to close that chapter. Let's see if it happens. But now that it's in the air and it might do, Barcola to Liverpool, what would be the reasonable price tag if you were the one negotiating for Liverpool with PSG? What would be the max you think Liverpool should pay for Barcola?
I think for a player, if it's 1 year of the contract, who did, maybe 40 games last year, not playing all 90 minutes, something like that, I would say, 80, 90. But I mean, Liverpool is already offering up to 105, 110. So I mean, that's far than that, but 145. I think football is, taking the wrong turn in this case. But that's, discussion for another day. But I think that's way too much money.
Yeah. But if we look at what he could bring to the offense of Liverpool, do you think it would make a significant change?
I mean, what Liverpool here is looking for is the replacement of Salah, and a player that can contribute both goals and assists and be there for a long time. I mean, he's only 23. So for Liverpool, I think bringing a player of Barcola's caliber is a must, and he will be worth every penny if he makes 10 goals, 10 assists. Because as of now, Liverpool's squad is quite thin. So, and I think that's also a leverage for PSG.
They know they need him. Yeah. They know they need him.
They know they need him. And I don't know if Liverpool has a replacement of some sort that they could back up with, but. Yeah, I mean, the leagues are getting closer. Ligue is around the corner, Premier League is around the corner. So I think that's a big leverage for PSG because they can keep... But then, I mean, they will not get any money next year if he's leaving for free transfer, if it's only 1 year he has left. So I guess it's a little bit on both ends, but yeah, chicken race perhaps.
But then to wrap PSG things up for now, we're going to see how the window ends, of course. I mean, Luis Campos, who is the head of football operations there and who definitely must have a finger in all of these fantastic business they're doing. I have a feeling that he's the best sporting director kind of role in world football right now that PSG had as their hands. So one important thing is for PSG to keep this one and continue with this, because right now I feel they are making moves. I mean, you see huge clubs like Real Madrid struggling with the sporting strategy, with assembling a squad. They've done a lot of signings, but it feels a bit more desperate. Then you have PSG, where everything feels like a chess move. It feels well thought out. I mean, they are discussing Barcola for over 100, and they've already made tons of money in this summer. And that they can sell a player of Barcola's caliber, it means that, like you said, Doué, they have the replacement already in the squad. They act and they plan, and just want to give some kudos.
But he was not there during the Neymar, Mbappé, Messi era, I guess.
He came in June 22, so
okay.
I think maybe he was the one who eventually was like, let's have them all go out. Yeah. So I think I think maybe by the end of the Cavani era, we need to check the details of
Luis Campos.
Yes, the Portuguese mastermind, I want to call him at the moment. Of course, things can go left, you see.
Okay, but if we're looking over to the contesters or the team that tried to contest against the title against PSG last year, Lens, there's been a bit of action in Lens. Saint-Maximin, he wasn't there for long.
No.
He went to Charlotte, free transfer.
Yeah, okay. MLS.
I liked him when he came.
Yeah,
there was a couple of games there, he contributed with a few goals. He always came in with speed. It felt like he wanted something, whereas, the rest of Lens kind of gave up because they knew they were not winning the league. So, but yeah, I guess he was not good enough to feel or be needed for Lens to build further on their squad.
Yeah, no, and I think when we talk about Lens, I mean, we have Malang Sarr heading out, and then Sangaré, as you mentioned. I think we talked about PSG doing great business. I think Sangaré going to Brentford for 48 million, it's a lot for Brentford to spend, but I do think that it's a bit cheap. I mean, he was one of the best central defenders in the league, and he has to compete with Vitinha and players as such in PSG for that position. I mean, he is worth... what he did for Lens was nothing short of spectacular. And of course, they also now sold Medina to OM, who was there on loan already. So that's great business, because him apparently they don't need 18 million euros there. So I mean, doing some good business as well. But when you look at what they bring in, I don't feel that they are. The names don't get me going, but it's a good, it's a well-managed club.
It's the Lens way, it feels like. I mean, you have clubs like Lyon, OM, almost getting relegated and not being allowed to play in European football. It feels like Lens has perhaps a bit too modest, but at least a way that doesn't bring them bankruptcy. And I've not seen much of Yacine myself, but he's supposed to be the replacement for Sangaré, and I mean, take this with a pinch of salt, but some people call him the Verratti from Algeria.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Yacine Titraoui is the Verratti of Algeria. Him we need to follow.
We need to follow him, and I think, for Lens to take that next step, they also need a goal scorer that, keeps on scoring. Especially now when they're going to play in the Champions League as well. So there have been rumors of them being interested in Franko Ivanovic, a Croatian from Benfica.
Okay.
Young as well, 23 years old. And I think that'll be a great supplement for Lens up there.
Yeah, and I mean, they're heading into Champions League football, so it's good that they are doing it responsibly. But I think, as you said, something up front to... have some playing time together with Thauvin and Edouard and the players we see did a fantastic season. And I mean, but the biggest thing must be that Pierre Sarge is heading to Crystal Palace, and we have a new manager.
Dino Topmøller.
What do we have on Dino? I mean,
he's coming from Eintracht Frankfurt.
Okay.
Coached them for the past 3 years. Not this season that was, but the one before, 3rd place. So he's done a good jobs with, reasonable economics backing him up. So I think he's taking the next step in his career in terms of expectations. Because now he's coming to Ligue, that a lot of people might say might be, just one step below Bundesliga or close to it. But he's stepping up in terms of clubs and expectations. Because I think Lens, coming from last year's seasons and the years before that, and also winning the Coupe last year, I think there will be higher expectations on him here. And, somewhat young, I think mid-40s. Hopefully no language barriers. But no, I think I like this signing.
Okay.
I like it.
But then I'm gonna... Dino Topmøller, I'm gonna try to do some investigation on my part and shape a picture there as well. It's just that I'm so colored by Pierre Sarge's season last year, but I think maybe sometimes it's right to do the change when things are going good. I think the great clubs do that as well, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's the right coach for the job as well.
And also, because Pierre Sarge, he felt he had done his part.
Yeah.
Similar to what I'm also thinking about Luis Enrique. He's not been in PSG that long, but he's won the league and Champions League back to back. He might feel that he's fed up.
Yeah, maybe, actually.
Full, maybe.
That's true.
It could be.
I'm not saying that now, because I think they will still be contesters in the Champions League this year, and I mean, most likely going to win the league. But I mean, there comes that time, I guess. You need a new challenge.
Definitely. And let's see. And the thing is, we're going to talk next week about our predictions ahead of the season more directly. This is much more transfer focused. But if I ask you guys the question, do you think Lens can not repeat last season, because that was it was a wonder season, but do you think they can maintain close to that level?
I think we'll see them at the top 8 at least.
top 8, a modest.
So a modest prediction, yeah. No, but I think it's still more or less the same team. But I think somewhere around the 5th place.
They have the shell in place to continue a good journey.
Yeah,
that's and that we'll talk about it next week. But that proves a challenge for the challengers because there's plenty clubs in need of Champions League money. One down in the south, and But
what do you think, Jeff?
Always hard with, a team of Lens, great in Liga, but out in Europe, somewhere in the middle. Hard to compete on different fronts. We saw that last year with many clubs. But the draw is 27th of August. Hopefully they might get a few easy teams. But I think that's going to be a big challenge for them. But I would say for sure, top 6 Liga.
I just want to mention one club which had a really, really difficult last season, and they made it to stay up, OGC Nice. Because what we saw last year was so poor at times. And I just want to call out, this is a club then that has spent so far this summer 1.7 million euros, which is nothing on this level. And they brought in Gauthier Hein from Metz, their best player. But, I mean, don't they need to do something down in this to not repeat last year? I mean, I would be semi-panicking if I was a supporter. I've seen, of course, they've sold some players off, which I think is the right thing to do when you have had a season like that. But they need to start bringing in quality. We're in August. It's a hard market, of course, when you're a bottom team. The players that you're looking for negotiating, but time to get to work for the leadership there.
Johan Juf needs some help there.
Yes, definitely.
And Wahi, that helped them secure the back-to-back qualification game last year. He's now back in Frankfurt. So, I mean, that's a big setback for Nice.
I think they need to, honestly, in order for us to believe in survival, they need to bring him back. Or a player of that quality on a permanent move. Because he was the difference between them and relegation. He scored some important goals. I really think they need to open the wallet and make that happen. Because it also seemed like why he enjoyed his time there at the Riviera. And insane. Insane that they have not done enough work. But okay, I just want to take your temperature now. Which club would you say so far, there's a lot of days to go in the transfer window, have done? Who are the winners of the transfer windows when we look at our beautiful Liga clubs?
Paris FC. I think so. I mean, given the talent that they have brought in, I think that will give them a huge chance to push and become one of the top teams. Maybe not this season, but definitely in the future, becoming one of the top 4 teams of Liga. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see this coming season for Paris FC. Paris FC.
Jeff, who is the winner so far?
I mean, I could definitely say Paris FC, as Dennis said as well, because I agree with all the things you said. But then I'm going to say Lens, and that's mainly because of Toppe Meller.
I love the belief you have in this one. It's not like O'Neill in Strasbourg. This is your kind of coach, and I like it. I think we need that kind of confidence in the competitors here.
But also used to bring, I mean, a fresh reality perspective into the league as a whole. There hasn't really been that many major signings that really, makes your jaw drop, right?
No.
It's mainly been PSG selling players for a lot of money. And Marseille as well. Not that much money, but still selling players. So it's not been, a Greenwood coming in or a Barcola coming in or something like that.
No.
Not any top yet. And I mean, Balogun perhaps leaving as well. So, I mean, there's been a lot of players which we got really fond of last year that seems to be leaving.
Yeah, but I just want to put my emphasis. It's interesting that we have 3 different picks here. I think you mentioned PSG and the money they are making despite being the best club in the world, and they will continue to be at the top. I have to put the winners so far as PSG for these price tags and these invoices they are sending over to Italy, because they are hefty. And if they manage this price tag around 100 with Barcola, I think they are, it's just top business. But of course, let's see now what they bring in as well. Because I think a bit different perspective. You're talking Paris FC. I can agree with the best players brought in, but not selling much. Selling many players, but not for any price tag. And then PSG, they bring a lot of money in, but the talent so far, I would say the standout is Akliouche. I think Marseille, they have their challenge. We can't see them winning this transfer window at all. They really need to do the hard job and then win on the pitch to get back. But super interesting. And I think another interesting one as well is Lyon. I mean, not any standout transfers that I've seen. And we're going to be not watching Endrick, who I saw scored in his comeback. Of course, it was a training match for Real Madrid, but he's going to be missed.
Yeah, but now when them taking in the Ambe there as well, I'm not really sure how he's going to fit in there in that Real Madrid team.
That is it for this week. Follow us on socials, subscribe, and give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember to tell a football-loving friend. For queries, you're always welcome to reach out at lefootpodcast@gmail.com. Now have a great week and see you next Monday. Au revoir.